It's one of these absolutely beautiful, beautiful, crisp mornings, and there's like mist on the fields, on the ground, and the sun is coming through. It is just absolutely so magical. And as I was walking around our land, I just felt really, really drawn to shoot you guys a video. So here I am. And what was coming up for me was how right now on the planet there's so much around being able to step more into our purpose, into our calling. What is calling you to step into something that is new, something that it's like, I kind of describe it, it's like there's an energetic pull. You feel drawn. You like, oh, that, I quite feel drawn to wanting to do this thing, to go there or to live there, or to work more on this particular thing. But yet there's nothing there energetically for you in terms of a structure. It's just a feeling. It's an intuitive energy that flows through you. It's a feeling, but there's nothing yet there tangible yet. Now I'm just going to see whether we can get to see this mist a little bit. Can you? I don't know whether that's really pulling up. If I walk backwards, I don't know if that's really pulling up. It's probably not. It's just the last bits of the mist, because by the time I came back to get my phone, the mist is I can see it in my eyes, but then the camera is really picking it up. So there's a pull. Now, depending on how tapped in you are energetically, and how tapped in you are to your feelings, that pull could be quite strong. And that is the sign that this is what the universe, what your higher self, is what the goddess is inviting you into. It's like your next step. Can you see the brilliant spider's webs? Can you see that? No, I don't think you can. Or maybe you can. And actually interesting, Spiderwebs is like a hologram. It's like you're in one hologram, and everything that you do, whatever's going on for you is kind of dictated to. So I'm going under because there's actually a beautiful thread here. Spider's thread that I don't want to break. I was going under it. Everything that, is kind of orchestrated by this one hologram. And what is happening is that we're literally shifting holograms. So we're shifting from one reality that is created through this hologram that we were born into, and we are stepping into and birthing through us a whole new, different hologram. I call it the divine hologram. So it's a hologram that is really, you could call it like Christ consciousness hologram. The whole way it's weaved together, the frequencies, the crystalline frequencies. And so all of us are going through that journey. And that journey is really a reawakening to who we truly are. And it's this hologram, the divine hologram, that is supporting us. It's kind of the energetic structure behind all of that. And it's a huge, huge process, as we know, and as what we're seeing is playing out on the planet. So how do each one of us individually, how do we step more into our calling, step more into our divinity? And that's that reawakening to who you truly are, not an intellectual level, like not intellectually, oh well yes, I am divine, but actually as a feeling sense. And there's different parts to that, and one of the parts is, who are you being, and the calling that you're opening up to, so that there is an alignment between who you are being and what you are doing on this planet. Because if you're watching this video, you will absolutely be a light worker, a starseed, an empath, and so you would have come in with a mission, something that your soul wanted you to explore, to be more of, to embody. And so through that, it's knowing how to... Can you hear that? Not quite too sure what that is. It's quite a strange sound. Knowing and connecting into that vibration and the pull of what I call the calling. And it's like you're stepping into the unknown, right? Because there's not, in your old hologram, that structure is not available, right? That energetic structure is not available. So as you awaken and should I say that your divine hologram births, because it's already within you, but just not awakened, it births through your light body being more and more activated, right? And so as that, as you awaken more of your light body and those codes that are kind of laying dormant within you, the calling, your calling, becomes more evident, becomes more obvious to you. You sense it, and then it's really a question of stepping into it more, even though it doesn't often make sense. Often it doesn't make sense at all. You know, there's it feels like you feel a bit like the fool in the tarot card journey, like you're stepping off that mountain, like, you know, like there's no, you're so not stepping off that mountain, so you're stepping off that cliff edge, like there's nothing there, right, to support you. But there is, but you have to take that step in there. And so much of this, I feel, requires such a deep trust in your intuition, deep connection to what you're feeling, and knowing when those hits come in, that calling comes in, whether it's of your ego or whether it is a higher calling. And it's really often around following your joy, following your passion, you know, if it makes you feel good, not from a place of, oh, you know, I'm doing this thing to make me feel better, to look better, etc., but just because it just very simply, just like a child makes you, you know, brings you joy, then it's around following that. It's around following your joy, following your passion, and in that process, it allows you to strip away those things that are no longer in alignment to who you are becoming. So there's such a process of decoding and recoding that goes with that, which is why I feel that, you know, one of the big reasons I brought through Temple Activate for people and for myself was to support that decoding, recoding process, because that's kind of at the core of everything, is how you release and surrender and let go, so that the new can rebirth. And that's on many levels. That's on many levels. That's like emotionally in your feeling state, but also in your thoughts, the way you're thinking, what are you releasing and letting go of. But then it's also through your light body as well, you know, because we do hold distortion in our light body, and how we clear through that and then allow more light in, higher light, higher frequencies, how we pull through higher thought patterns, higher states of being. And all of this is ultimately to know ourselves as the divine, and that's the Ascension journey. And so many of us are now in that place of connecting into that calling, stepping into it, anchoring it in. There's many different stages to that, and so many learnings and awarenesses that unfold in that journey. It's really beautiful and so empowering through that. And it's one of the reasons, I think I was talking to my team for only about 3 or 4 weeks ago, that I'd had this vision, and something had come through, and it was all around the calling, but it was on many levels. So it was on the level of the calling, as in, what is your calling, what is your soul purpose, and how can you allow that to unfold? How can you trust what is coming through for you, right? And actually trust it enough to step into it and start to release parts of your life that are not in alignment with that. And that can be highly challenging, because so much can be linked into security, like, well, how am I going to earn enough money, etc, etc. Or it could be like, how am I going to survive? If it could be a relationship, how am I going to survive without this person, or whatever it is. And so it can feel like a big step, because it's challenging the very foundations of the life that you had so far. But yet those foundations energetically, because of what's happening on the planet, are changing so much, is that we literally have to build from the foundations up again for this whole, and that's going from that old hologram, shall we say, into the divine hologram. And so it is a huge journey, and 2025 is going to be big energetically, because it's going to, with the energies that we're going into, is going to be a lot around introspection, going within and getting really clear as to what is no longer in alignment with who you're becoming, and what is you're needing to let go of that level. Is also going to be around, it's like the way that you move forward in life is going to be so much more around opening up to spirit and to the goddess, and being in flow at that level, of that amount of level of trust and surrender, and doing the inner work to support you to keep moving forwards with that. So having a beautiful inner practice, a beautiful environment that supports you to do that, and to establish that, or to deepen into that, I feel will be very supportive for the energies of next year, because I feel that they will get a bit bumpy, shall we say, on an outer level, and really as it gets more and more bumpy and as things kind of dissolve, structures dissolve and things keep changing, whether it's the economy, whether it's the political system, whatever it is. Oh, I've got some geese flying overhead. Whatever it is, it will be like a nudge if you get triggered to go deeper within yourself, to find your internal foundations and not to be looking outside of yourself for those foundations, but to build them within you, to energetically build these new foundations within you through your, like, the consolidation of your spiritual aspects, your light body, your mental, your emotional, and your physical body, like, so that they're all in alignment, they're all supporting you at that higher level to become more of your divine sense of self. So I just wanted to share that with you, because it was just coming through. I've got I'm bringing through a whole new teaching, a whole new workshop on what I've called the calling. If you feel drawn, I've not got a sales page, I've got nothing up for it, and I don't know if I ever will, because I'm just really just, trusting and allowing it to come through. I don't know whether it's going to be like just one workshop or 3 workshops. It will just unfold as it needs to unfold, as I feel guided with that. But what I do know, it will consist of, tapping more in, understanding that calling process. And also, it's also the flip side to that is that then how you activate through what I call your higher throat chakra, your throat and your causal chakra, kind of they work together. This was some of the technology that the Palladians have been sharing with me, and how they kind of work a little bit. The higher heart, which is a fusion of your higher heart, of your heart and your throat. The higher throat is a fusion of your throat and your causal, is what I'm being told, and how when they're activated, it really supports you to be able to step outside of the box and to perceive things differently, and then it's like you're holding through that, and then through the expression of that. That's why the throat is really important, because then it's for the expression of that energetically, just by how open your throat chakra is at that moment, but also the physical expression of that, whether it might be what you're saying, whether it's what you're writing, but how that's expressed through your throat and down through your hands, then like automatically calls in. So you're calling in through that energetic state those that are in alignment with what it is that you're sharing. It's really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And so it's not then, it doesn't become about like the pushing, the struggling, the hard work, because it's just so much more energetic at that level. And this is why your mental brain, and I see this so much, how people try and work out, well, I want to have I don't know, I want to have an online business because I want more freedom. So what shall I do? Well, I could do that. This is not the way forward. It's not the way forward. The way forward is going within and opening up as you decode and recode those higher frequencies, you then get that the calling starts to come through. You start getting, because as your higher throat and your causal chakra allows you to step outside of the box. Each one of us is so unique. Like the way I do something and what I bring through, no one else will bring it through in that way. No one else, right? And so there's such this is kind of what needs to be activated within each one of us. And of course it does require a lot of internal strength and courage because it's so unique. It doesn't make sense at a logical level what you're being asked to do, the steps you're being asked to, or invited, should I say, to take. It doesn't make logical sense. But often that's a clue that it might be more of your divine mind that's coming through, more of your higher self that's coming through, and inviting you to step more into your greatness, to step more into your uniqueness. And this calling, that calling is what I'll be sharing in the workshop, will be in part some of that technology that's involved in that. And I'll be downloading activations for you to support the activation of that within you, so that you can open up more to your calling, you can open up more to your soul purpose, and have the strength, have the courage to trust what's coming through for you, and to go through that internal decode, recode, and to then be able to share that out more into the world. So I'll leave the link for you down below if you literally feel the calling to step into the calling. You'll just know. It will just feel right. So because I have no sales page or nothing at the moment, and I don't know if I ever will, but right now I don't know where it's going. So this is the time to step in, because this will be the lowest price it will ever be, whilst I am anchoring it in. So I do, it does require a bit of trust and faith on your behalf. But then the flip side to that is that you do get it at the lowest, price that it will be. I'm also including it. Please don't buy it if you are part of Temple Activate, because it is part of Temple Activate. This workshop is part of Temple Activate. And so Temple Activate is it is part of Temple Impact. Sorry about that. I don't want to confuse anyone. Part of Temple Impact. So Temple Impact is, you get Temple Activate, which is all the decoding and the recoding. It's all the Crystal Merkaba grid journeys, all the activations through that, and the essential workshops. But Temple Impact includes all the business energetics, right? And so this is really important, because you can step into more of your calling, right? Absolutely. But if you don't have the abundance piece in, which is connected to the money aspect, if you've not worked through, if you've not decoded patterning around the money energetics, which I know a lot of spiritually aware people do have a huge amount, because of poverty vows and because of a lot of conditioning around, charging for your spiritual gifts. There's a lot of conditioning around that. It actually stops a lot of us moving forwards and having, being able to share our gifts at a wider level because of that. So Temple Impact has the within Temple Impact, you have a lot of programs that really support looking at that aspect around manifestation, around abundance, around money, to decode a lot of patterning that you may be holding at a subconscious level that is holding you back from sharing more of your gifts with the world, right? The last thing I want to say is that, and I kind of look at it as two different ways. I sometimes have to break things down in a linear way so that to make it a little bit more comprehensible. But the way I look at it is that you have your gifts. Now, those gifts could be your psychic, so you've got your spiritual gifts, which could be like your psychic gifts, your intuition. Those are kind of those spiritual gifts. And then you've got, like, in a way I call it a higher spiritual gift. Now that is more of your uniqueness, right? So I kind of separate it out as two different things, just to highlight that there's a difference between your unique gift that nobody else has, and that could be gifts. It doesn't have to be just one gift. It could be a couple of gifts. So for me, my unique gifts is my on my crystal Merkaba grid journeys, and the technology around that is totally unique to me. And part of that aspect are my Palladian channelings, which is coming now through more and more, which is like the technology involved around the shifting of our DNA, because our DNA literally is now really shifting, and our physical body is having to shift to be able to incorporate higher frequencies of light more and more. So it's that with, in those channelings, the actual energy that comes through in support of that for the group in the moment as well. So it's not just an intellectual understanding, which is amazing in and of itself, the technology involved, but it's actually the energy itself is coming through. That's why these are live, these Palladian activation sessions. I think I call them Galactic activation sessions. These are live for that reason, and I hold that space for these beings to come through so that you can get those activations, those shifts within your energetic system through that, as well as technology that's coming through with that. And so that is very unique to me. And so this is what I'm feeling, is that there is that aspect that's going on, like a much more unique frequencies, and this is the calling. This is why it's the higher throat with the causal chakra, that there's a fusion that makes this sort of higher throat chakra that is coming on board more for people. And interestingly, as I'm saying this, my first galactic activation session is going to be around the strengthening of your central pillar of light, so that you can hold more electromagnetic energy, because it's fusing. A lot of us, it's fusing. It's like our old bodies were not designed to be able to hold so much light, and so there's a shifting that's needing to happen within our the spine, within the central nervous system. And so I will be that's what's over the last few weeks, this is what I've been channeling through. And so our very first galactic activation session will be on that. So I'm super excited about that. That is happening this Thursday, coming over Halloween. I thought it would be such a beautiful portal. The veils are much thinner. It will be much easier for me to channel through, and for you guys to open up and to receive that activation, that channeling that will be coming through. The session won't be more than about 40 odd minutes or so, but it is going to be live. If you cannot make it live, I am keeping the portal open for about 12 hours afterwards. So You'll have a chance to listen to it within 12 hours afterwards if you can't actually make it live, because I know we're all different time zones, right? I get that. But that's as long as I'm prepared at the moment anyway to hold that open for that time zone. So again, I will give you a link for that below as well. And so yeah, that's all I'm feeling the need to want to share with you right now. Like I said earlier, I wasn't expecting this to come through at all. I just thought I was going for a nice little walk and just really loving the mist and everything. But this came through, and I went back to the house and just got my phone so that I could share this piece with you. So much love to you. Take care. Bye bye.